the segment known as the Black Pot, aka Kukushonamo. Now, this is where we talk pertinent issues relating to the development of our people, our continent, our land. This is where we speak truth to power. We don't like to criticize because we want to see things go right and good. But if we must criticize, we will not hesitate to criticize. And if we do just such criticize, then we only just criticize to build and not to destroy. I appreciate you. I thank you. I love you. Now, today we have a number of things I need us to quickly look at. And remember, this is where we speak truth to power. My brother, my sister, Ghana is on fire because Ghana is about to have elections. My brother, my sister, politicians are running helter-skelter, trying to get things to happen in this country. My brother, my sister, trying to get all the votes, and at the same time they are doing all they can to deceive as many people as possible, to follow them into the satanic abyss. Sometimes I sit back and I think, see how we vote people into power, then they come and we become their enemies. When election is coming back, they have a way of bringing the friendship in quotes back. And after they are back in power, they turn on or push the enmity button. It's like a game of chess. We are friends when it's election time. We become the worst enemies when election is over. My brother, my sister, we have seen how politicians can be so deceiving, very deceptive. We see how politicians can do everything humanly possible, sometimes even demonically possible, my brother, my sister, to hang on to power. We pray that the right person is chosen for this country. We pray that our Father in heaven, that so many people believe in, will open the eyes of the electorate so that they will be able to choose the right person. Because in our country, you most of the time cannot trust the electorate. He's either bought or fooled or paneled into voting for the wrong person. Either you are intimidated, in other words, paneled into submission, or you are given some peanuts to sell your birthright. I pray, my listener, that you will do all you can to stay away from this nonsense. Vote according to the dictates of your heart. Vote according to what is around you. Are you seeing a better condition? Then go and continue to vote for those who have made your life better. But sometimes don't be selfish. It might be going right for you because you belong to a family of politricksters. And your brother next door is suffering because he has no link to that family of bourgeoisies. In that case, you are voting for the wrong reasons. Selfishness. Listen, our country was a country that was predicted over 100 years before we had our independence to be the leaders of Africa. Those of you who know history, go and read the history of Africanus Horton. When Africanus Horton came all the way from Sierra Leone, at that time called British Sierra Leone, from the city of Gloucester, traveled all the way to the United Kingdom, where he became a medical doctor, he became a soldier, he became a writer, an historian, a banker, and many more. To the point that on Mercury, a whole creator is named after him, Africanus Horton. He came into this country several years before Kwame Nkrumah himself was even born. Over 100 years before this country even gained independence. And he always wrote about the Gold Coast, not about Sierra Leone, his own country, not about Ethiopia, the cradle of human civilization, not about Egypt, but he wrote about the Gold Coast. And he pushed for almost everything humanly possible for the Gold Coast, because he saw in the Gold Coast hungry people who were ready to sacrifice, shed their own blood, lay down their heads on the chopping board in order to please posterity. But today nobody thinks about posterity. Everybody is thinking about himself, herself. As long as I have a plate of food and my next door neighbor has nothing, I don't care what he eats or she eats. I only care about myself. Yet we pay the same taxes. Yet we are supposed to be ruled by a father for all. Vote them into power. And during the voting process, they are your best friends. But when they get onto the demonic seat, they become Lucifer himself. My brother, my sister, I pray that you don't get cajoled and funneled into submission. I pray that you stand firm and know your right from your left. And you pray for the wisdom of the Almighty to vote according to the dictates of your spirituality. Because if the physical is wrong, the spiritual can never be wrong. I cry for this country every now and then. Listen, we have grace in our mustache now. When we started, we were little boys. Very hot and rough, ready and goody-goody, cool and deadly. But today, grace are beginning to come all over. It means that it is a sign that, yeah, the time is coming. Time is coming when you will not be on this seat anymore. So I asked myself, what have I achieved? I certainly was brought into this world to be able to achieve something, so that at the end of the day, when my Father in heaven sits me down or stands me up on the way to Zion and asks me, I sent you down onto the earth. What did you achieve? I will be able to tell them, I was not blessed with money. I was not blessed with wealth. So I could not go out and dish out goodies and throw away money to the people out there. Gold, silver, and diamond. But you blessed me with a brain. You blessed me with a certain militancy that I could talk to the next man, revive his dead wire, and put some energy into that wire to be able to achieve where my legs cannot go. We all cannot dish out money. We all cannot build houses and say, come and be there. We all cannot provide food physically on the table for you. We might be able to direct you to where the food is. And by so doing, we would have also accomplished why we're brought here. It's not a competition as to who can give out how much money, who has built what. Because in our society, we judge people's success by what building they have, how many cars they drive, and how fat their bank accounts are. If that is success, I don't want to be part of that. Nah. For what? That I have 10 houses, 20 fleets of cars. So that what? My biggest achievement will be how many people's lives have been able to strangle away from the devil. How many important souls have been able to wrestle away from the claws of the demon? How many people have been able to direct towards the light? Because today, if I give you a plate of food, you will eat it and it will get finished. But if I give you wisdom, if I direct you to plentifulness, if I direct you to the city of light, you shall continue to benefit from the light. Because as long as the sun shines, there is light. And even in the night, when the moon shines, you remember that the sun is what is giving the light to the moon to be able to shine. Hallelujah. Think about it, my youth. There was a time we were all called youth. But today at 46, I wonder how many people will call me youth. There was a time if they said youth, we were the youth. There was a time when they said the youth, we were the youth. Today, we are gradually slipping away from the echelons of youth. And you are in there now. Don't make the mistakes we made. Don't be afraid to change the world, your style. Do not be afraid of who holds a gun and who holds a knife. If you trod the path good, you shall be protected by several angels. And when the man who holds the gun approaches you, he shall shoot himself. When the man who approaches you holding a knife turns around and stabs your enemies, then you will know that there is a power that is greater than every other power. My youth, listen, we don't have 1 million years. Look at all these old men and old women steal the future and the destinies of the youth. And when we come out to talk, we are those who bear their brand. When we come out to talk, we are those they mark for hatred. Oh, my biggest achievement is the fact that I have never been pinned to any political party. And that I say with pride. Let one politician come out and say, I gave Blakk Rasta 1 penny to toe the line of my party. That day I will commit suicide. Because my life would have been so unfulfilled. I prefer to walk with nothing in my pocket, to have politicians' money in my pocket, and be bamboozled, heckled, and puppeted left, right, and center like some little zombie. My youth, a time will come when you would also have the grace in your beard, in your hair, in your mustache. Don't be too quick to vilify. And don't be too quick to hold on to nonsense and foolishness. Think. Think. In our country, the youth are not encouraged to think. They are supposed to be taught for by the old dying men. 20 years from now, I will be 66. I don't know how old you will be. But I know that 20 years from now, I will be 66. And if I'm lucky enough to continue to live, my brother, my sister, I will not have the strength that I have now. You might have more strength because you are younger. But remember, you are also on that journey where you'll be called an old man or an old woman. What are you doing for your generation? That change starts with you. If you're a trotro driver and you sit in your trotro, maybe you have a tape that is talking positivity. Maybe there's a radio station that is talking wisdom. When you tune into that radio station or play that tape for even 1 minute, if one person even hears it, you don't know how much that message could save this one person. Probably he's on his way to suicide. Probably he's on his way to some mayhem. But that 1 minute of information might change this person. Don't underestimate what you can do. What frightens our enemy is not our weakness, but our untold strength. We are so strong that the enemy sits back and he starts to shiver, but we don't know how much strength we have. Don't let a dirty politician push you around to go and pour acid on people, shoot people, kill people, insult people. And at the end of the day, this dirty politician who you think is your friend will turn his back around anti-clockwise. My God have mercy. And he will become Satan's messenger immediately. We have seen it over and over. We don't want you to make the same mistakes that we made and our ancestors made. Open your eyes and watch. Look what is happening in Nigeria. Buhari is shooting and killing the same people who voted this useless old man into power. A coup maker, heartless coup maker, who came in and people believed that, oh, this man is a changed soul. He's going to be able to do wonderful things. First year, he did marvelously. We were all praising the old dying Buhari that he'll be able to do something for his motherland. But look what Buhari is doing. He's becoming worse than all the dictators. Broad daylight, live bullets are shattering people's brains. Live bullets are bringing out intestines of human beings, not dogs, not goats, not sheep. Broad daylight, guns are barking like barking mad dogs. Broad daylight, my brother, my sister, men, young, who will be taken over from the reins of these old men are gunned down right on the streets of Lagos. The same taxpayer whose money was used to buy the guns, the same taxpayer whose sweat brought you useless, dying old men into power. Why do you disgrace Africa like that? Why? Is it only old men who are wise? 20 years from now, a lot of these old men will be dead and gone and buried and forgotten. Only Satan will remember them for using them. 20 years from now, all these useless old men borrowing money from the IMF and the World Bank, claiming to be using the money, and you will be dead and gone. Never resurrected, because Satan himself wouldn't want them to resurrect and be with them. They are demonic. These are the people who want to mess up your future. They have been able to secure the futures of their children, their children's children. Some of them are even great-grandfathers. Some of our leaders in Africa are great-grandfathers. Look at Paul Biya. His son has a son who also has a son, and his son also has a son. Great-great-grandfather at the age of 98. The old man is still wobbling left, right, and center, peeing on himself, shitting on himself, and he's still president of a country that numbers more than 30 million people. How can a useless old man like this rule the whole of Cameroon? It is because he has other useless fools who have taken guns using the taxpayers' money to shoot and kill the youth anytime they want to rise from the cage. My brother, my sister, if the youth get to know the power they have, they will never follow all these people. Don't be selfish. A politician gave you some stash of cash. How long would you spend this money? You take the stash of cash. You shoot and kill 10 people. Their lives are destroyed for good. But that cash will go. You won't spend it forever. Think about it. Every time I'm going to bed, this is my prayer for the youth. I might not live long enough to see what I want to see. But if I don't see it in my generation, you must see it in yours. Why are you so crazy about money? Why are you so crazy about wealth? To the point that you are ready to sell your soul to the demon in order to drive a car that will kill you finally. Why are you so crazy about money? Why do you tie your destiny to money and wealth? If you are not rich, then your life is useless. Some of the greatest men we had, they did not have money, but they had wisdom. Think about it. Think about it. My brother, my sister, President Mahama was in Takwa, and he said something and I'm most disappointed. You know what the ex-president said? Now, according to Ghana Web that published the story, he promised the people of Takwa that when he comes into power, he will chase #1 and make sure that #1 pays everybody that he owes. He should have ended there and that would have been good. But the ex-president went ahead to say, who is #1 to be walking free whilst the people he owes are suffering? Oh, Mr. President, I thought you were bigger than this. This is so disgraceful. He went ahead to say, #1 has so much property, all his property should have been seized and paid. Do you believe in the courts of this country, Mr. Ex-President? Is that how you too, you want to come into power and talk this carelessly? Please don't start it. Yes, I want #1 to pay the money. The matter is in court. Did the ex-president check it out? #1 was arrested all the way in Dubai. He was almost rotting up in jail right there in Dubai. When everybody thought that he had run away and was not coming back, he all of a sudden surfaced. All the cars that he had have been seized. All his property have been taken by the state and held until the courts decide. Mahama, please chase the Nkofems that flew to Burkina Faso. Mr. Ex-President, chase RLG that you gave so much money to and issues came out of that. Mr. Ex-President, chase all the slave queens who are mentioning your name all over the place. Mr. Ex-President, chase all the corrupt people you spend corrupt money on. You should be investigated. You are investigating a young man who's trying to put his life together. #1 started in your regime, was in your regime and making things happen. You did not see anything wrong with it until the old man came into power and messed up the man's business. Now you have the mouth to go out there and say, if I come into power, I will chase #1 and get all the money. Who is #1 to be walking free when the people are suffering? Don't do that. Don't do that. You are not being smart when you say that. #1 is here. He walks around. Police people guard him. All these cars have been seized. The matter is in court. Why don't you push for the thing to be speedily dealt with? We have not been paid for 14 solid months. You think we don't want to be paid? We want to be paid. I want to have my money from #1. I have family members whose monies are with #1. I want to see a closure to the #1 issue, but don't play to the gallery, Mr. Ex-President. Don't talk like that. That's irresponsible talking. Who is #1 to be walking free? Hey, is that how you want to win the elections? You know how you could have spoken? Listen, I know so many people are owed money by #1. His business started in my regime. When I come into power, I will make sure that you get all your monies. It doesn't matter how the money is going to come. Either we pick up number one things and sell, depending on what the courts say. But I promise you one thing, that within 4, 5, 6 months of my next tenure of office, you are all going to get your money. Whether it's number one who is wrong, or you are wrong, or some other person is wrong, you gonna get your money. That way, you are already getting number one himself. You are getting his funds. You are getting all the other people he owes behind you. But by saying who is number one, for him to be walking free when the people you have judged him already, when the law courts are there. Mr. President, I think you goofed. I think you goofed. I think you goofed. And it's time to deal with the issue. It's time to deal with the issue. Don't be too much in a hurry for power. I have dreamt 6 times that you have become president again. That is why I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not a keen supporter of you because you were so corrupt. But Nana Addo has come to show everybody that he's the great-grandfather of corruption. Great-great-grandfather of corruption. Number one, he's a young man who is trying to turn things out. Look how much he's trying. Oh, there's land at Oyarefa. You whose money is with me, please come and check the land. If you like it, take the land. Don't pay me anything. I do that, I give you that. There's Mercado running. Can't you see a young man trying to make things happen? Is this the sign of a thief? You messed up the man's business. He doesn't have anything anymore. But he's still trying to make things happen. And you are still squeezing his balls. If it was your son, I am sure you would treat him with kid gloves. Yes, number one made mistakes. Every other person does. You make mistakes too. Let the courts deal with the thing. Push for speedy court action. Rather than coming to play to the gallery. Populist propaganda. Yes, when I come into power, who is number one? Nah, man. To God be the glory. I appreciate you. Let the right man win. And I know that you, President Mahama, will come and take over from Nana Addo. That I know. Because I have dreamt about it 6 times. If the God that I serve will deceive me 6 times, or was it Satan who appeared in my dreams? I hear Satan is capable of appearing in people's dreams, right? Well, I don't deal with Satan. Satan is not my family member. He's the family members of you politicians. He can't come around me. Satan is not my family member. He is your family member. Deal with him. Ghana shall prosper. Ghana shall be all right. Ghana shall be cool. Listen. Mama, you were so corrupt that Satan himself was smiling at you. But Nana Addo is the great-grandfather of corruption. He is the Shaka Zulu of corruption. To God be the glory. I love you. I appreciate you. Ghana shall prosper.